Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and as Toronto Ultra prepared to potentially make some changes over the coming weeks with a new addition to their substitute bench. The pros have not been happy at all with the top ranked player on the ranked play ladder getting exposed for cheating live on air. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, we've got to talk about the Toronto Ultra. Scrappy of course talked about it yesterday, maybe looks somewhat like myself, some might potentially say. And well, anyway, Scrappy was one of the top performers, if not the top performer, at the Challengers event in Minnesota when his team, the Ultra Academy North America, won the event, with him looking like one of the more promising players of the entire event. Very fast flex, picks up MP40s a lot of the time, reminds in a way of kind of what Awakening was doing back in the kind of Modern Warfare days when he'd have an M4 in hand, but often he'd pick up an MP5 if he saw one, and was just dominating with both weapons all across the park. So definitely a very talented player. And well, it seems like Toronto Ultra have decided to bring him in to their team. Not yet as a starter, but you do have to wonder if something like that could be coming. Certainly what they're trying to do, it seems, is keep the starting team they have very much on their toes, right? You don't want the starting roster to get comfortable, feel like they're irreplaceable, because that's when things might slack off, and it's definitely going to give a kick up the arse, I guess, to some of these guys to make sure they turn things around as soon as they possibly can. So they've already got Hicksy on their bench. Now Scrappy's coming into their bench as well, with, I believe, the starting roster of 4 staying the same, at least for now. You do have to wonder whether a player like this could rejuvenate this team, because we have seen what's happened really for other teams that have made moves recently, the likes of New York bringing in Paul X, of course at Spart to Los Angeles Guerrillas. One person changes in that kind of flex role that has really rejuvenated a squad. So maybe Scrappy can do something similar, because look, Cammy hasn't been performing well this season. Maybe Scrappy comes in, the team looks better, Cammy goes elsewhere, certainly going to be a hot prospect on the market if he is available. Look, there are many options that come as a result of this, but Scrappy officially joining their sub bench. So rather interesting. Not many teams, I believe, if any at all right now, have 2 substitutes on their bench. It used to be mandated back in Modern Warfare. You have to have 2 subs on your bench. You guys might remember the Opta Gaming Los Angeles team that made no sense at all, that had Chino and Goonjar both on their bench, both as assault rifle players. Didn't make any sense. But they had to have 5 starting players, 2 players on the bench. Now it's just 4 and 1 respectively. But they've actually got 2 players in here. So maybe they don't want to bring Hicksy in, or maybe they feel like the role that Hicksy would replace doesn't make that much sense. They might want to just make sure that Cammy's feeling the pressure from behind as well, because a guy like Cammy might not have too much pressure on him, at least in theory, because if Hicksy's coming in, probably going to replace Bance or something like that. But then again, do you really want to replace Bance given what he has brought to the squad in terms of in-game leadership? I did look briefly through the replies, and the only one I really saw from an Ultra player was Bance. He says, "Welcome, pal." So quite interesting really, right? Because maybe some of the other players, like if you're Cammy and your kind of spot is potentially on the line for a guy like Scrappy, are you going to say, "Welcome, pal, welcome to the team," all this type of good stuff? Who knows, right? So maybe Bance is feeling confident that his spots might be safe, but of course it's really difficult to read into all this stuff. This is of course what CleanX tweeted out a few days ago. Cammy said something similar not long before that. Everything happens for a reason, just got to keep it moving. So Toronto, top 2 team in the game last year, no doubt about it. Now they find themselves in effectively the relegation zone, or the zone where they're not going to make it to the World Championship. That is of course completely unacceptable for this roster. They won the kickoff classic at the start of the year. Things were certainly looking up because they said they were getting bodied. They went to Europe to scrim for a few weeks. They got absolutely bodied over Christmas. They come back and won the kickoff. So they were thinking, okay, wow, only up from here, right? But turns out getting bodied in practice in Europe actually has paid out very much in reality over these last few weeks in the Pro League. So this is what Adam Adamu says over at kind of the management side of Toronto. Had an opportunity to spend some time with Scrappy before I signed his papers. Love his passion, skill, and willingness to learn about what it means to be a pro and to win. We're not making any more changes to our rosters for now. Good luck at the Pro-Am. So that's coming soon indeed. So for now, not making any changes, they say. Of course, look, it just in for now implies that something could be happening relatively soon. Now, of course, not making any changes to our rosters, does that mean that, okay, the 6-man roster they have, there's no more additions or kind of losses happening from those 6? Does it potentially mean that changes could happen within those 6? That's, I suppose, another question mark you could ask. But of course, after all my years of grinding, I finally made it into the league. So fantastic stuff. But, yeah, they're not making any changes for now. But, it does have to be mentioned that it is a possibility, especially because this is kind of their start to the schedule. And, we'll have a look at where they sit in terms of ladder rankings here in a second. Not ideal for them. They're going to have to turn things around rather quickly. This on Saturday, May the 14th, they play their first game up against the Seattle Surge. That's going to be far from easy with the streak that Seattle have been on. And also, where do you go if you're Toronto with what maps you play here? Because Seattle are incredibly good at Bacage hardpoints, where some of Toronto's hardpoint success had actually come this year, right? So if you're it's not a real great matchup with Seattle, especially in the hardpoints, I don't think. The next matchup against Minnesota Rokkr, they play them again, so that's a good one, right? If they don't win this series, it's got to be chalked, right? It depends what Minnesota, what team they bring to to the party because they might not keep their roster. Minnesota might get better at hardpoint, but like, Toronto are 2-18 in the last 20 hardpoints. You would think maybe what they're thinking internally is like, look, that can't continue forever. Surely eventually we're going to turn it around to be like 50-50, and if our control and search stay as they are, we can still win. The concern for me is they can't win a game 5, which is, not going to get them over the line, at least in their last few series. Minnesota Rokkr are a team, obviously, that should be good in game 5s, but, who knows what roster they come to for stage 3. We've got a few weeks to go as of yet. Next up, they play Subliners, then they play Paris. So they must be looking at their schedule here, Toronto, and thinking, wow, this is really easy. Because they play Paris. Okay, London aren't going to be easy at all. But like, okay, New York, Paris, Minnesota, and at Seattle Surge, one of the easiest schedules you're probably going to ask for, right? So I guess they're thinking, look, we can put some decent points up on the board here, like, get in a decent spot for the World Championship. But right now, they find themselves in 9th position. They're only 10 points down off the rest of the guys, but they're a fair way off Los Angeles Guerrillas up here in 5th. So they're going to need to turn things around quickly because they're in potentially the danger zone to not make the World Championship, especially their map win-loss isn't very good. Their series win-loss is one of the worst in the league, actually, at only 50%. Only New York and the Paris Legion are worse on that metric, so yeah, not a ideal situation for them. Will Scrappy come in at some point? Maybe quite likely based on how things are going lately, but seemingly they don't want to make any changes on that front as of yet. Let's talk about this then. To as Doug Martin says, yesterday, number 22 overall in the world, he's going all the way for number 1, but a massive expose really goes down last night with regard to a player, number 2 ranked player on the ladder, called, I guess Plexify is kind of what he's got in his name here. I'm not sure how you really meant to pronounce this right. It's kind of like Paulex, but I guess it's like Perplex or something along those lines. And anyway, he's been caught cheating after his stream bugged, showed he had the wall hacks. Unbelievable scenes. I'll share the clip for you guys on screen here in just a second. But you see this actual moment right here. His game kind of bugs and lags a little bit, and it goes from looking like this, where, it's kind of a normal screen, to looking like this, where you can see the players through the walls. So unbelievable scenes. This guy's been sitting there for the last few months trying to make his name, kind of doing a Ryan Bacardi type thing back in World War II, topping the ladders, trying to do an aBeZy that we were discussing yesterday, and all of a sudden, he's exposed himself on stream.
Damn, that kid, cutie. Yo, Carter. Damn, why does my game always crash?
That's not you, my bad.
Dude, you just got me killed. Nice one, Carter. Nice one kill on your team, bro.
Oh, me.
So all you can say is, what an absolute prat. It's just phenomenal stuff to witness this, but at the same time, it does make you wonder, right, with some of the other teams and some of the other players that are in a similar boat, how many of them are also doing some pretty dodgy stuff like this. And it's really frustrating for the players that, playing this day in, day out, and also for the organizations, right? If you're an organization trying to look at, to try and find the next aBeZy, right, or, next player in ranked play, you don't know if these guys are cheating, right? Which is just incredible. People actually try and make a career out of this, and then just cheat, get exposed. All of a sudden, your career's over and it's job done. Time to phone up the local Mackie D's. You got to get a job somewhere. So as Bance says, console COD, what a time, man. And Doug Censor Martin, not happy about this at all. I've been putting in 10-hour days to become the number 1 ranked player. This is what I have to deal with. Pathetic stuff. Even Chino, very frustrated because, this guy, they play him apparently quite a lot. And, he's just sitting there and often, he'll win the game. He'll say GGs and stuff like that with a straight face. And, of course, there's something dodgy going on. As Doug Censor Martin says, very disappointed with myself today. Sitting at number 13 in the world, expecting to be number 12 when I wake up in the morning. So Doug's on the grind all the way up to number 1, he reckons. But over 5,000 SR Doug's got right now. So he's doing absolutely grinded on this front. Pretty cool to see, of course, the substitute for the Boston Bridge. He doesn't even have a shirt on here. It's just unbelievable what this guy's up to. But, Chino says this, haha, this guy 4 stacks every game, always go to my chat after beating me and say GG's. Imagine being this guy, it's pretty blatantly cheating, or at least now it's been exposed, or you've exposed yourself, so congratulations, everyone. And still have the audacity to go to, a pro player. I guess Chino isn't technically a pro, but, effectively pro-level player. Go to his chat. Chino's won events, been MVPs in the past, back in the World War II days, early Team Caliber. And just say, yeah, GG's, mate, nice try, Chino. Better luck next time. I'm the better player, mate. Get me in the league. But, all of a sudden, there's cheats going on right here. So even this tweet I thought was kind of funny because it does blow my mind how some of these hackers somehow still get bodied a lot of the time. In this game right here, this guy's pointing out how he beat this guy game 5, round 11, or no, not necessarily game 5, just round 11. This guy goes 10 and 11, and Chrome's like, look, how did this guy die 11 times? times while being hacked up. So unbelievable scenes. Chris from MLG just straight up bans this guy straight up from game battle. So beautiful stuff, very well deserved. It's good whenever something like this does happen and does get exposed very blatantly. That you know, because a lot of the cheating accusations that come out, there's no 100% guaranteed proof. This is like absolutely blatant. So it's good when something like this happens. That you know, harsh action is taken, harsh words are said, and yeah, this guy just gets ousted for the community forever. Because we want to make examples of these type of guys so that others don't even feel like they should risk hacking. Because when something like this does happen, they just get ousted forever and have no chance of making the return. Kind of like that Shiv guy you guys might remember right towards the start of the season. And even as Doug says, right, I believe this is back in well, the end of March, right, when another hacking situation went down, when Doug was like, look, why do we not have a decent anti-cheat yet? There is an anti-cheat installed in the Warzone side, not sure why it hasn't arrived for competitive as of yet. And of course, you know, you can use Faceit anti-cheat for like challenges games and stuff you play in custom matches if the players agree to do it, as I believe they have in the European side. It's kind of like a GA that you have to do that, which is obviously very beneficial, but at the same time, for ranked play and stuff, there's nothing you can really do about it. Doug did another one of his classic Twitter videos right here saying like, you know, look at this guy, what's going on, don't take shortcuts or you'll get cut. He reckons he's going to go for that number one. But that's the thing, right, you mess up as hard as this guy has, all of a sudden you're out of there for, you know, the rest of your career. So definitely, you know, not worth giving it a go at all. And even as Zero says, won't catch me giving credit to a single soul in ranked play anymore. Can't trust a single person you come across on there. Sorry if you're generally good, but people just be hacking 24/7. That's the issue, right? It screws it up for all the other guys that actually are legit and are potentially top level amateurs and are trying to make a name for themselves. They can't, like, you can't look at these players the same way as you might have looked at an aBeZy, or example in World War II when it was on console, because you know, now cheating is a major problem in this kind of PC era of ranked play on Call of Duty Vanguard. So if there is an aBeZy level player in ranked play right now, players like Zero and other pros can't give them the respect they might deserve, because you don't know if there's something dodgy going on because of guys like, you know, we've just exposed here. So very frustrating thing, and it really affects the kind of path to pro in a way. Yes, these guys can play, you know, challenger tourneys and stuff like this, but they might not always have the best teams, they might not always be able to make the best runs to actually make a name for themselves. Ranked play is in theory a great way to do that. The top 250 ladder is a great way to show your name as being up there with some of the best pros, but you know, all of a sudden these guys are throwing a massive spanner in the works, and it's frustrating to see. This season I thought was incredible, as Enable says. Man said he downloaded wall hacks to get diamond camo and didn't know how to turn them off. Unbelievable excuse. This actually was said in the chat right here. Chris Radial says, what made you decide to randomly cheat if you're already number 2? Gotta hear your reasoning. He reckons I got it for diamond camo G, didn't know how to turn them off. So maybe he didn't download these you know, all that long ago, but you know, still, if he's downloading hacks or whatever for diamond camo, like, you know, no sympathy at all. You simply can't make up some of this stuff that happens here in the Call of Duty community. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Just wanted to finish off with this from Lyman. Spart's career cards, very much early days, only 5 tournaments well, he's played, average placing of about a 6, series win-loss not looking all that great based on the kind of time he had back in the Modern Warfare days, but again, he's been in 1 finals, he's won that finals, and won a fair bit of prize money to go along with it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting that like button tells the YouTube gods this is a good video, others like you should see it as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.